Kia ora te wānau, welcome back to another YouTube video, and this week's video is my personal journey in the fight for loot control. Word out on the desert was that in G6 there was going to be Forger armor up for grab, and in G8 there was a 100% drop rate for the Regis pistol. So this video for the most part is just PvP clips. There's a lot of do's, there's a lot of don'ts, and as we know in PvP in the Dune Awakening world, stamina control is huge. That was my biggest downfall this week in PvP. On top of that though, a lot of people are experiencing bugs like the gravity mine, especially for our trooper tank build. That was bugged, that was always stuck on cooldown. There were other glitches where my stamina wasn't regenning like at all, it was just stuck. One of the pros was saying that sometimes the shield doesn't turn on or turn back on after shooting, or whatever, you know, any action that turns your shield off while you're fighting. So if we're experiencing these bugs, then everyone is experiencing it as well. So what I basically found is that we came across a lot of melee builds which were very strong this week in my opinion, and to be honest I didn't adapt or switch my build enough. I just tried to get like gravity grenades instead and continue on with the trooper tank build. Now I'm going to show the good, the bad and the ugly, to be honest. So consider subscribing, don't forget to like the video as well, and every now and then we try to get a live stream up on Twitch, so make sure down in the description you check those out. Ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa, and enjoy the video. First day logging into the game for the week, I go straight to one of the shipwrecks. To my surprise, I already see someone behind some generators. After hitting him for the first time, he comes back from being AFK. Now I knew these two ships were going to be highly contested this week, so I don't know if he was camping it, but I'm guessing he was just waiting for it to pop so he could start getting his timing on when it's going to respawn. As I reload my guns and pop some bandies, a lot of this video I knew was going to be fighting inside, close quarters. A lot of this video is going to be inside in this dark area, but also on top of the wrecks as well. In the trooper tank build video, I mentioned that I was going to switch from the shell burster back to the perforator, and that was one of the biggest mistakes I made, for the simple fact that perforator, although it shoots 12 bullets per shot, you only get about 4 shots off. With the shell burster you can get 6, which keeps them staggered for much more longer. A lot of the things I'm going to mention in this video is probably going to be more for new players to Dune, or for people who want to start getting into PvP, which are a lot of basic things. What I did know is that we were going to fight a lot indoors, being where the loot is located. What I didn't know is how tanky and how long the fight we're going to be against melee builds, mainly because when you melee attack you don't drop shield, but when I'm shooting and being the build that I'm using, I shoot a lot, which leaves me open to counter attacks, so it was quite difficult. Unfortunately, he guns me down and gets me. Now I thought I had him on the back foot with all the damage I was doing to his shield when it was up and when it was down, which explains why I was standing and banging with the triple shots with him. I thought he would eventually go down. I think he gets a good shot on me and he catches me shooting, and then he hits me with a triple shot right on the chest while the ship was down, which ultimately got me and he was able to do what he was doing. At this stage, I couldn't figure out why these merely inclined builds at least were so tanky. I started to not feel so tanky myself. With the gravity mine at our fingertips and working, we were able to drain his energy, which means it drained his shield and drop. We were able to get one disruptor pistol shot on him, and you've seen how effective the shotguns are once the shields are down.
Weather alert. A large
In this fight, I got a better shot off in between exchanging shots between us both. The poison takes over, gets him down, and I managed to finish him off with the shotgun. He keeps spawning here, so I'm thinking this chest is about to pop in any second now. To my surprise, he keeps spawning back. The biggest learning that I had this week is the use of shig wire. It's a great mobility tool to traverse any environment that you encounter, but you can also use it to stun the enemies by directly shooting it at them. Although it's a good stun, it's much more useful as a pursuit tool or as an escape tool, which is why this fight took as long as it did. When you use shig wire as a stun, the cooldown is much more longer, and when they can dash out of it so quickly, they can use it as their escape tool, and it's much more harder for you to pursue. I'm not gonna lie, I got a hiding this week in the deep desert. You know the internet, we like to post all of the highlights, so I'm just gonna go out there and say I've probably lost 80 to 85% of the PvP interactions that I got into. But that's all good, it is what it is. When you have tier 6 gear that everyone is after and pursuing, it's just natural that other people are wanting these things as well. So you're gonna run into solos, You're gonna run into smaller guilds and also zergs when it comes to trying to acquire tier 6 gears and whatnot. So I actually died quite a lot this week. So here we are, one of many interactions where I ran into a small group of people, and this is just a good display on their side of applying pressure and me not managing my stamina as well as I could. I was trying to kite all of these people and try and get one low enough where I could try and target them in the end, but I just couldn't crack it. If tier 6 gear or higher and PvP are my main focus at the moment, I'm gonna need to get some experience on how to handle being outnumbered in multiple different situations, scenarios, against different type of builds. I've just gotta try and find a playstyle that suits me first of all, and that will hopefully work. But these guys have been PvPing for a while, they're not new to the server, and they actually work very well together, using rockets, melee, different types of weapons in there as well. You would have seen the drill shots, and yeah, this is just the PvP experience, I guess. In an OCE server, it's highly competitive and quite ruthless to say the least. We're 1v1. Thanks, bro. One more. Oh, relax, bro. At this point, I'm thinking it's damn near impossible for me to get any of this gear with it being this highly competitive, and even asking just for a 1v1 here, you know, everyone goes all in. I gotta respect it, and I don't really encourage anyone to ask for 1v1s or have duels out there in the PvP areas. Just expect the worst, I guess. Give me one 1v1. Okay, buddy. This next clip is pure heartbreak, but I couldn't resist not posting it because, you know what, I wanted to share this with you guys. At the end of the day, things happen. People fuck you over, you get burnt. But you know what, it's how you bounce back at the end of the day. Context to this one is, I was waiting at a chest to pop and someone pulled up acting all nice and friendly. I got PTSD from people just shooting me on sight, so I decided just to blindside him and pump him with the shotty. Anyway, I felt a bit bad. I start chatting to him, private messaging him, this and that. If there's a couple of sayings that I go by now in the deep desert is 1, there's never any fair ones in the deep, and 2, don't trust any motherfucker. No, bro. No. No, 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 no. Oh, I hate this, bro. As you can tell, the BP was there, right in front of me, and I let this little hua snake it right underneath my nose. I couldn't believe what was happening for real. Like, what are my guns doing here? Mans taunts me by standing there and taking everything that I throw at him. I couldn't do nothing. No, bro. Oh. After a few days of relentless hidings, I started to internalize what other passives, techniques, abilities that I could implement to not only counter these melee builds, but stay true to this trooper tank build. The problem I had, which was self-inflicted, is I kept basing the build around the gravity mine or the gravity grenade. The gravity grenade isn't too good because the area of effect is largely smaller than the mine. GG's, boys. GG's. After respecking, I switched my Adept Disruptor pistol for a dart for every man in hopes that it will shred people's shields off real quickly and I could finish off the enemies at close range without getting melee too much. I thought I might have had something, but same again, the gravity mine was bugged. Another thing that wasn't working out for me against melee builds was, if I use a Disruptor pistol, the range is the same as if someone had sidestep, so it made me vulnerable for melee builds to close the distance and essentially TP behind me. GG, bro. Yo, did you just get the BP? Did you get the BP? After fight number, I don't even know anymore, a missed opportunity to get a BP. But we wake up the next day and pull up to the wreck. We had a 2v2 to begin with, and then it became 2v3. But I just wanted to harass these guys because the chest was about to pop for sure. This week's Deep Desert was a weird one, keeping in mind the loot that was available in rotation. There was the Regis pistol obviously, and the Forger gear that we have been constantly fighting for in this video. In the default testing station, it was basically a free Regis triple shot rifle because it was getting hit so many times that you could just walk through every 45 to 50 minutes and get a free Regis triple shot rifle. And it was funny because people were actually camping the chest inside of that testing station. The reason I bring that up is because everyone was very smart and put these wrecks on a timer, so they didn't necessarily have to camp these chests here. All they had to do was put timers on, and about 10 minutes before pull up and try and defend any other person that wanted the loot as well. After harassing the guy that was sitting on the chest in here, there were 3 of them actually teamed up and waiting for this to pop. After I noticed they didn't chase me, I could hear shooting in the room just before the chest room if you were to go and get the band through the main areas. I noticed that they were locked in there, so they gave me a little window of opportunity for this chest to pop and hopefully wrap me my first blueprint for the week. I looked in the room before the chest. Fuck, if this pops, this would be amazing. Fortunately for them, the chest hadn't popped for me to take it, but I had a little cheeky idea to try and get them to leave the area. Long story short, the plan didn't work. I was hoping by saying GG's in the Deep Desert chat that they would think that I got the loot and took off in my ornithopter, and then circle back, hopefully without them there and a nice juicy BP waiting for me in the chest. Like I said, nice things don't come without a fight in the Deep Desert. Well, I found myself in another fight. Running away from a fight is never an option. My pride will never allow it. But I knew I was outnumbered, outskilled, outgeared, and well, it was just a fight I was never gonna win. So I thought I'd cut my losses, reset, and focus up on the next mission. At this point I had fought many battles, suffered many losses, and what seems to be so close always seems to be so far. When the uncertainty starts to settle within me, for some reason my dumbass keeps telling myself maybe in the next one we'll crack it. Maybe, just maybe, the next opportunity will arise and that will be the one. The one that will make everything that you went through up until this point worth it. me.